Hello trainers, Sharkoonel here with another video back after a couple of weeks on hiatus. I had to come back in order to produce a video recap of a very special giant event that happened in Pittsburgh on Sunday, August 4th. A set of two mirror cups, a Twilight Cup and a Regional Cup that drew 72 trainers. 7 rounds in the first cup and 6 rounds in the second cup. We had trainers from Canada, Virginia, Ohio, Chicago, Philadelphia converged on Pittsburgh. Popular YouTubers, KiengIV, JFarmakis, JimmaBanks came. MissMystic was here to shoutcast the event. We had 4 aces participating and a tremendous field of exceptional trainers battling it out in these 2 cups and a 7-hour marathon event, which I think everybody there had a great time. I'm going to include some video from before and after the event, a little snippet of a quick interview I was able to snag with popular YouTuber KiengIV, and recaps of some of my matches. So without any additional delay, here's some of the intro video just to give you a sense of the size of the crowd and the atmosphere in the room on that very special day in Pittsburgh. Well, here I am about to enter Mr. Nice Guy Games for the Mirror Twilight Cup, and later after that the Mirror Regional Cup, featuring 4 ace trainers, some of the top trainers in the world. Some of the top YouTubers have converged here on our humble little abode in Pittsburgh, and we're going to have what is stacking up to be the largest tournament in the Pittsburgh region so far. As of this moment, 65 people are signed up for the Twilight Cup, and we're going to see how that goes. Okay, here we are. We have prizes for the tournament victors today. Trophies for the 2 tournaments. Pittsburgh PokemonGo Discord. Getting ready to go. Okay, we're getting closer. We're about 15 minutes before start, and here is the throng of competitors here in the Pittsburgh Mirror Cup. This tournament is going to be shoutcasted by some awesome YouTubers. Here they are, all set up and ready to go. We're about 15 minutes from getting ready to start. Largest crowd we have had for a tournament in the Pittsburgh region so far. It's looking like we're going to have a 7-round tournament. Okay, at this point I will now show the videos of my 7 matches. I'll speed them up so they don't take quite so long, and I'll do a little bit of commentary over top of them. As I said, I did go 4-3. I did not draw any of the aces who visited Pittsburgh for this tournament, but I did play a lot of very high quality trainers. So I had a great time. So here are the videos of my matchups in the Twilight Cup. Okay, the first competitor I faced was Bilbo Jr. 13, who is a brand new trainer to PvP. Was his first competitive tournament he had told me about. I was honored to be his first battle. Led with Zoomerl. He led with Toxicroak. So he swapped to Gardevoir. I bring in Tyranitar. I shield, and I'm able to farm up some energy on Gardevoir. So he's got the shield advantage, I've got switch advantage, but he's not using his shield, so I'm able to take out that Wigglytuff. So he's got 1 Mon left, and I'm able to get off the Ice Beam. He shields, but I take out the Toxicroak, so I go up 1-0 on Bilbo Jr. 13. Second game, I lead Azumarill, he leads Gardevoir. So I'm just trying to get to that Ice Beam. I get to it first. He uses his shield this time, and I mirror the shield use. So I'm just trying to get to that Ice Beam again. He uses his. And the third go round, he gets to the charge move first. I shield, and I'm able to take out the Gardevoir. No shield left on the field. I get to an Ice Beam on his Venomoth. Bring in Tyranitar that takes out Venomoth with a couple of fast moves. Now, Tyranitar was getting eaten alive, but did get to the charge move, so I'm able to take the second game. Okay, here we are in round 1 of a 7-round tournament with the vast sea of trainers. LM22 waving to the camera. She's mugging for the camera, not paying attention to her battle. Pittsburgh has not seen this many trainers in one place for a tournament as yet. This is the biggest we've seen thus far, and it's an impressive sight. Okay, my second matchup is Shiny Hunter Ben. I'm 1-0 at this point. Looking pretty good. And Shiny Hunter Ben brought Tentacruel, Azumarill, Venomoth, Skuntank, Frostlass, Toxicroak. I lead Tyranitar, he leads Skuntank. Favorable for me, he swaps out to Toxicroak, but I've got Venomoth. So I do burn one shield, but Venomoth just eats Toxicroak alive, so I've got the switch advantage. He brings in his Venomoth. I've farmed up, so I've got the move ready to go. But we're going toe-to-toe with the Venomoths. I save the shield. So he brings Skuntank back in. Tyranitar does get off the charge move. He blocks. So he does use a shield there. I bring in Azumarill. Sludge Bomb does a lot of damage. But I do take game 1 from Shiny Hunter Ben. Second game, I lead Muck. He comes with Azumarill. Muck gets to the charge move very quick, but he beats me to the Ice Beam. I use a shield, get off the Thunder Punch. He blocks that as well. He swaps to Venomoth, and I swap to Tyranitar. Use that second shield. Venomoth is off the field, and I'm able to get, because I farmed up Venomoth, I was able to get to the charge move and burn his last shield on Toxicroak. Then Venomoth can survive one Mud Bomb. Got his Toxicroak, so he's got Azumarill. I get the Silver Wind. I think I'm going to get to a second Silver Wind here. Yeah. So I take his Azumarill down quite low. He does get off the charge move to kill my Venomoth, but Muck is still there. And I'm able to take both games from Shiny Hunter Ben. So I'm sitting pretty here at 2-0. At this point, my third competitor is LJazz7 with Azumarill, Gardevoir, Toxicroak, Golbat, Drapion, and Skuntank. And this is where I make a few mistakes. I don't think I play particularly well versus Drapion. But anyway, in this first match, we did some swaps, and I got Azumarill against Drapion. Took it out pretty well. Get to the Ice Beam against Gardevoir. He shields. We're 1-to-1 shield. I burn my second shield here. Get to that Ice Beam. He burns his second shield too, so all our shields are gone. He gets to the charge move first with Gardevoir, so my Azumarill goes down. Tyranitar comes in, farms up a little bit on the Gardevoir, and I am again able to get the smackdown off on Toxicroak. Does a nice chunk of damage. And then I've got Venomoth in the back. So I'm able to take game 1 against LJazz7. Goes downhill a little bit from here. So I lead this game with Muck. He leads Azumarill. So he swaps to Drapion. I struggled with the switch there, and I switched to Venomoth, which I don't think was the right switch. his fast move is just eating Venomoth alive. He burns a shield, but Drapion's just gonna eat Venomoth pretty hard. So I bring in Tyranitar, and Tyranitar is getting eaten pretty hard. So I don't think I played defense against Drapion in this game well. I don't think I switched in correctly or effectively defense against Drapion. So he takes out my Tyranitar. I do get to one charge move again with the Muck, but he's got Skuntank in the back with a shield. So even though I get to the charge move, that's going to be a good game to LJazz 7. So we're 1-1, and we're going to a game 3. This is the first game 3 I had in the tournament. So I lead Venomoth, he leads Drapion. I think he saw that I wasn't dealing with Drapion correctly, and I couldn't swap out. You see, I tried twice, couldn't swap out, so I'm stuck with Venomoth. But the game did throw me a bone, and I got the buff, so Venomoth didn't go down immediately like a chump. I was able to stick and get off another charge move, burn his shield, so he took me out. I do have shield advantage here, but I have to burn it here. But I do take out Drapion finally, and I do have energy on my Tyranitar, so he brings in a Azumarill. I get off the Stone Edge. Nice chunk of damage. I swap out to Azumarill. He swaps out to Gardevoir. So I get the Ice Beam. So I'm thinking I have a chance here. I get the Ice Beam off. Should have done a play rough. Don't think I would have prevented him getting this charge move, but he takes out Azumarill, and he had enough energy to get my Tyranitar too. It was that close. I thought I had a chance in that game. I just played the back two wrong there. So I lost that matchup. So I'm 2-1. My third opponent is Lee Wilson 32. So I lead Tyranitar. He leads Drapion. Swap to Muck. He swaps to Umbreon. So Muck isn't doing much damage against Umbreon, but it is getting to the charge moves quickly. So I'm chipping away, chipping away. I get to a third Thunder Punch. So I burned one of his shields, but Umbreon took out Muck there. So I bring in Tyranitar, burn a shield. So now we've both burned both of our shields, and I've got a Azumarill. So he brings in Umbreon and gets to the charge move first. But I've got the play rough here. He brings in Togekiss. I get to the Ice Beam on Azumarill. Do a massive chunk of damage there. And simultaneous feint. So game one against Lee Wilson, simultaneous ending. So we're starting from scratch here. We've got Azumarill mirror match. I've got charge move priority, I guess, or he was waiting for it, so I get to the play rough first. So we're swapping play roughs here. He shields the second one. I mirror his shield. He gets to the third one first. He must have under-tapped me or something. So here I got a little glitch. Didn't matter because he blocked it. He shielded it, so I get to the play rough first this time. But he survives with a sliver. I'm able to take out the Azumarill. No shields left. So I don't have a good response to Drapion once again. Drapion seems to have been my Achilles heel. And Togekiss just took out Tyranitar almost instantaneously. And I didn't have much of an answer there. So Lee Wilson 32 takes game 1. Second game, I lead Azumarill, he leads Drapion. So I'm okay here. Finally, I have an answer for Drapion. He swaps, and I brought Tentacruel. So when he swaps to Azumarill, I swap into Tentacruel, and I'm in better shape here. So I get off the Acid Spray. He does not block, so I don't get the Shield Bait. But I'm just trying to farm up, and I'm going to farm up some energy here. Hit Drapion with a Hydro Pump that he's going to block. Probably should have done the Acid Spray instead. But I've got Azumarill here, ready to go. Burned his second shield. He brings in Togekiss. I've burned his second shield, so I bring in Tyranitar, which was a mistake, but I've got Azumarill sitting there in the back, so I'm able to farm up his Togekiss, get off an Ice Beam, and able to hang on for the victory in game 2 despite the swap mistake with Tyranitar. So game 3, I lead Toxicroak, he leads Tentacruel. I wasn't exactly familiar with this matchup. None of my training partners had it, so he swapped out to Togekiss. I bring in Azumarill. I use a shield. Get to that Ice Beam. He burns a shield, so I have shield advantage, and I am able to get to a second Ice Beam. Take out Togekiss. Tentacruel farms up a little bit, and I bring in my own Tentacruel. So this is a Tentacruel mirror, and he swaps to Drapion. I swap to Toxicroak. Burn my last shield to take out this Drapion with Toxicroak. And it's looking good for me. My opponent even said kind of good game, as if he knew he'd lost. But he farms up my Toxicroak, and he's able to get off the Hydro Pump. And I didn't have enough health to survive it. So he thought he was going to lose. I thought he was going to lose, but he came back and won. So I lost that. So I'm 2-2 at this point. My fifth opponent is Vexilus. So I swap out that Tyranitar against his Qwilfish, and I bring in Azumarill. So he had a swap to Golbat. Uses a shield. I use a shield as well. I get to the Play Rough. So no shields left on the field. Poison Fang almost takes me out. I bring in Tyranitar. He swaps out again. So I get off the charge move to take out Qwilfish. Finish off Golbat. And I've got Venomoth versus Venomoth. So he takes game 1. So in game 2, I start with Muck. He gets to the Mud Bomb first. Thunder Punch. We've swapped shields there. I want to beat this Toxicroak, so I burn my second shield. And then I swap out to... That was a kind of a simultaneous swap there. which was probably a good swap for me. And I'm able to bring in Muck here. And I've got Tentacruel in the back. Silverwind does not beat me. I get off the Hydro Pump, and I'm able to hang on by my fingernails for that victory in Game 1 against Vexilus. So in Game 2, I lead with Tentacruel. So we've got Tentacruel versus Toxicroak. I eat the Mud Bomb. He brings in Azumarill as I'm getting off the Hydro Pump. So he does not shield. I want to get off the Acid Spray. I do get off the Acid Spray. He blocks it. Doesn't matter. I don't think that was a good shield on my part, but I am able to take out his Azumarill. And get off an Acid Spray versus Venomoth. So that makes it even worse when I bring in Tyranitar. He brings in Toxicroak. I'm able to get off a Ice Beam to take out the Toxicroak, and his Venomoth had almost nothing left. Silverwind doesn't take out Azumarill, and I'm able to take Game 2.
Okay, here we are in the midst of round 5. People are milling about. Light streaming in. I am currently 3-2. So we'll see how the rest of the tournament goes. There's our shoutcasters over there.
Okay, my round 6 opponent was not a spoofer. And this is the worst match I had all during the tournament. I lead Tyranitar, he leads Toxicroak. I get the Acid Spray, he swaps out to Togekiss. I get off the charge move and take him out. But he takes me right back out with Tentacruel. So we've got the mirror match. He gets off an Acid Spray. I get off an Acid Spray. He gets off Acid Spray again. I take him out. Now he's got Venomoth. I get off Hydro Pump. He blocks. Now I've got 2 shields left on Azumarill. I get off the Ice Beam. He shields. I burn my last shield. He swaps to Tentacruel to soak my Ice Beam and then brings Venomoth back to hit me with poison. And then he gets it off again, and I am dead. So not a spoofer with some spiffy swapping takes Game 1 from me. Second game, I lead Tentacruel. He leads Tentacruel. We've got the mirror match. He's got CMP. Acid Spray comes. I get off my Acid Spray. I hit him with a second Acid Spray. He hits me with a second Acid Spray and then swaps. I swap to Tyranitar. I use a shield. Take out his Venomoth. What's he gonna bring? He brings a Azumarill. I don't know why I hit Crunch. But I used Crunch instead of Stone Edge. I get off second charge move, which is Stone Edge. He blocks. He swaps Venomoth back in and eats me before I can get a charge move. So now I burn my last shield against Acid Spray. He's got a shield and I don't, so this isn't going to go well for me. He takes me out and I lose 0-2 to Not a Spoofer. That was probably the worst match I played in the whole tournament. So at this point in the tournament, I am 3-3. I'm looking to take this last match so that I can have a winning record. My opponent is Ghost Burns Red. I lead Tentacruel, he leads Skuntank. I didn't know this matchup, so I just elected to stay in. Burned a shield. Hit him with the Acid Spray. He burns a shield. So we're 1 shield to 1. I let this through and hit him with the Hydro Pump. He does not block, so Tentacruel takes out Skuntank. He swaps Venomoth out for Toxicroak. I swap in my Venomoth, so I take out his Toxicroak. Then we've got the Venomoth mirror match, and I have a little bit of health left on Toxicroak in the back. So he takes me out, but Toxicroak one taps the Venomoth to take game 1. Game 2, I bring Tyranitar, he brings Golbat. Very favorable lead. He swaps out to Quillfish. I'm trying to swap out. I can't swap out. That's the second time I've had swap problems. Have to burn a shield. I bring in Tentacruel. He burns a shield on my Acid Spray. Aqua Tail isn't going to do much. I eat it again. Take out the Quillfish. Partially charged up. I quickly get to the Acid Spray on Golbat. I burn a shield on Tyranitar. Get off the Stone Edge. So Golbat's down, and now he's got Skuntank in the back. I get off another Stone Edge with Tyranitar. Take out the Skuntank. So I go 4-3 in this tournament.
Okay, we're in the middle of round 7. There's KiengIV and the folks at the lead table fighting it out in round 7 of our Twilight Cup here in Pittsburgh. Here is the whole rest of the room. We are almost done with this massive tournament.
Fire and field.
Our tournament winner! Yeah!
More importantly, the cookie.
The company business has got a Pittsburgh tradition. Pretty sure double picture.
That tournament was probably one of the most fun tournaments I've ever participated in. Like I said, I finished 4-3. I wasn't dissatisfied with that. The 2 of the 3 matches I lost were very competitive, were very close. I was a couple of taps from being able to pull them out. If I'd have played just a little differently, I might have been able to win one or both of those tournaments. So I wasn't that far from really being in contention to finish near the top of this tournament. The one match I did get rolled, so that is what it is, but I really had a good time in this tournament. We did have a second tournament on this day, which was a regional Mirror Cup. I did no prep for it. I didn't do very well. I'm not going to include all the matches, but here is a little bit of just a video highlights from that second tournament as well.
All right, friends, here we are for my first match in the Regional Cup. I'm in the hot seat facing House Stork. I'm only shaking a little bit. Okay, friends, here we are. Round 4 of the Regional Tournament. The crowd's looking a little run down after 11 rounds of combat here. Some people didn't make it through to the second tournament. We have a smaller crowd. The 6-round tournament. The energy level is much, much lower, and I'm exhausted. Check back in for the final.
Really polite to do that, so I think fast reaction time.
This would be a Pittsburgh tournament without having a Pittsburgh winner. So the Pittsburgher with the best record in both tournaments was excellent.
And then folks, we still have our raffle prizes. Someone has claimed the numbers we grabbed. So please pull out your raffle tickets. We'll read them one more time.
What do you want?
Everybody, this is KiengIV.
How's it going, everyone?
Just having competed in the Pittsburgh Mirror
Competition
Cup.
is crazy here. It's some of the best. I think this is one of the most stacked tournaments in the entire world. So
That's what we wanted to hear.
and in really 2 wide open metas in Twilight and Regionals, the lineups are all over the place, and people are bringing really tricky things. So it's been really good, a lot of fun.
Thanks, man. Great meeting.
As a final word here, I would just want to say I had a really great time at both of these tournaments, even though I tanked the second one. I thought I did pretty well in the Twilight Cup. Big thank you to KiengIV for coming down to Pittsburgh. Thank you for the out-of-town trainers, the Aces, Valor Ash, House Stark, and all the others who came to Pittsburgh and competed. I think the Pittsburgh trainers acquitted ourselves nicely against some pretty heavy competition from out of town. I will point out that in the Twilight Cup, none of the aces went through undefeated. So I think Pittsburgh demonstrated we have a pretty strong set of trainers here, a pretty intense competition, and some very nice words there at the end in that little snippet from KiengIV. And a huge thank you to Mel Good 7-Eleven and the other organizers here from Pittsburgh. This was an amazing event, and we all had a really good time.